Well, this year's pumpkin did not fare well. It rolled into the ditch and looks like heck. Have to come back and touch it up. Anyway, it was too wet, too cold to be painting during the week, not on the last minute. That's my fault. Anyway, we'll cross that off. The list is done. I guess I gotta come out here and trim these weeds. Didn't realize how bad they'd gotten. It's keeping the edges of the road trimmed. I don't have a flail mower or anything. That would be the ideal tool, just to run up and down with a mower. But the hay mower is too good, too big. I've done it before, but not with the new mower. I've done it with the old mower. Anyway, we're getting ready for Open Creamery Sunday. We've got about 45 minutes left before people might start showing up, and the big problem is we have no idea. Some days we get, sometimes some years we get 100 or more, 250. I think one year was our max. Other years we get 2, 3, 5 people throughout the course of the entire day. It goes from 11 to 3. Obviously we prefer more people, but you got to plan for the median, and yeah, it's just not great having no actual. Alright, I gotta drop off this grapple and switch over so I can get the calves fed. Yeah, it's just without being able to predict, we don't actually go all in on it, because a couple of times we did go all in. We made food, we had things, and no one showed up, so then it's a waste. Just notice when I went to unhook the grapple, leaking hydraulic fluid out of this top fitting. Now, I don't know if the hoses got a little stretched, but I don't know if it's this fitting failed, which is brand new and expensive. I bought one of the high quality ones, or whether I just pinched it, or I hope this isn't going out. These are a couple $100. This grapple has been nothing but problems. I have to basically drain the pressure off of it every single time I use it. Now I've got used to it. I bought the fittings, the expensive fittings that are, you can couple under pressure, and even that isn't working. It's the only implement that I have that gives me constant hydraulic problems. That grapple there, the log grapple, is fine. I can hook it any weather, any pressure, whatever, hook and unhook it, no problem. The hay grapple, I don't know what it is about it. Constant hydraulic problem. And it doesn't help that I've broken the hydraulic lines on it a couple of times because they're just awkward. I even increased the length this last time I had them made up, and it was an expensive proposition, but now you got to be able to, tip the bales and stuff. Let's get the bucket on and get the calves fed. Well, it is 12th, 13th of October, and we're supposed to be having a nor'easter right now. It's supposed to be pouring with rain, according to the forecasts. At least 3/4 of an inch. I don't see any rain. It was supposed to rain overnight. I don't see any rain. This is getting obnoxious. We had a little bit of rain. And as you saw, I just finished cutting 6 acres of second cut and got a pathetic 3 bales of very short grass. More grass was sifting out of the baler than I was putting into it because it was so short and dry. And what's there, what I baled, is quality, but yeah, I got 3.5 bales the core. I fed the core out to the calves. That's what they're eating now. Walking the dogs. I was gonna sell some of these bales to my neighbor. They need 20 hay bales, and this is wrapped hay, brushy stuff that the cows kind of pick through. So the neighbor's goats will eat it much better than the cows will. So gonna be busy today. We've got a couple of deliveries coming. I may have to run to the vets. Tomorrow I'm getting a tooth extracted. Not looking forward to that. Failed root canal. And so I'm busy then. So maybe later in the week, depending. If we get a lot of rain, then things are going to be different. But I don't anticipate we're going to get a lot of rain. I believe it when I see it. I keep saying that. What did I say before? We now need 19 inches of rain to break the drought before winter freezes. So I don't think we're going to get it. And we couldn't get it technically. I mean, we've got half a month of October left, all of November and some of December typically before the ground freezes solid, depending. Looking at the calves. Yeah, I don't know what that breaks out to. We would have to have, several inch rainfalls. And I'd rather, in November, we've gotten several days before where we had sort of 3 and 4 inch rainfalls, and that's a disaster. We don't need it all at once. We need rain, but definitely it falling all at once at this point would be a disaster. I'm just looking across the field and I see that the cows are out there, which means I have to go collect them for milking. Today, despite the drought, and a testament to my, come on dogs, testament to my management, I guess, is by feeding them half days on silage, making sure they always have silage in front of them, and managing a bit of grain ration for them, and just putting them out on grass when it was best and I could. Come on. Ellie doesn't normally need to walk on leash. She's a very good, well-behaved dog, except she has some health issues and she likes to scavenge in the chum buckets. Molly has to be walked on leash because she's become she's going through a phase. Anyway, and we have visitors coming and people coming to buy cheese and deliveries and stuff, and having Molly, she goes into defense mode, and we've got to break her that habit. But until then, we got to have her on leash, and because Ellie is constantly in the chum buckets and pig scraps and stuff, managing her health, we've got to have her on leash, and it's kind of getting old. Anyway, so because I've been managing what little grass has been growing and keeping it quality and keeping it in front of the cows, we're still getting a ton of milk. They're all mid to late lactation, except for Luna, and they're cranking out the milk. So we had a little bit of a problem. We have too much milk again. And so Allison's vat can only pasteurize 120 gallons. And so she's gonna, normally on Monday mornings we put the milk in, and then she starts making cheese. Well, she's gonna start making cheese, which means she has to drain the vat and clean the vat before I can put milk in it. This morning's milking, so that because right now she's right at 110 gallons in the bulk tank. And so if we were to add this morning's milk, there would be too much milk for the pasteurizer. And that doesn't typically happen this time of year. We're trying to manage, this is the time of year where we start winding down, making all the summer cheeses and things. So we're going to have to come up with a plan. Well, that's a bonus. The cows collected themselves. So I need a bucket that should be sitting right there. It's not. I got to go get it. Said bucket. Since I moved the heifers down the hill to be isolated from the cows, it has added yet one more group of beings that I have to manage. So I start the day now going from down the hill to out front feeding livestock. So we take care of the heifers first because they're pretty much self-contained. They have a tub of water and it gets filled every time I water the other critters. And so they just need grain. I do have to check on their pasture because I'm sure it's starting to run out. This is day 3 of cows being out. The big cows can get a little bit more pasture today, but the heifers, they're gonna need a bale because there's nothing left down there for them to eat. Hello, kids. Astrid, you giving me side eye, miss? Hello, cuties. Hello, Joy. Well, my theory about this feed trough was wrong. And also, looking at it in the catalog, and when I ordered it, I thought it was going to be longer and wider. Explains why it was so cheap. It'll work great in the spring for little calves, but now that they're getting to be quite a bit older and bigger, they just knock it over like the other trough, because that's what calves, especially Jerseys, do. So anyway, I'm still having to feed them on the floor. So anyway, this at least holds all the grain and they can both get it from both sides. Darling. Are you big but small? Alright, it's getting late. I gotta shift my gears because Hoof Trimmer's coming around noon now instead of 3. And we've got a delivery coming at some point today. So it's gonna be a complicated day. Yeah, the way she turned her hoof out, it seemed like it might be an inside fault.
I bet that's where she's thinking it is too.
Yeah.
That's a mess.
A puncture or just a crack, a stone?
It's going underneath. That's definitely a puncture.
Yeah.
Come from a rock or a stone of some kind.
Yeah.
A good amount of that foot's going to come away.
All right, well, the cattle handling system has come. I'm in the middle of trying to get hooves trimmed, so I'm not filming it. We're just gonna do this quick and dirty and get this unloaded as fast as possible. Now, we called the hoof trimmer out for Luna. As you can see, she had a puncture, a stone puncture or something, and a little bit of an abscess forming that Cody, our hoof trimmer, routed out. And then he puts a block on her other hoof to take the pressure off the sore hoof. And then he sprays it with a disinfectant, wraps it in oxalicylic acid, aspirin basically, and then wraps up the whole hoof. And that'll be that way for a few days. We're also getting some medicine from our vet for it. And then that'll be her taken care of. And we had one other cow, Lottie, who just needed to be checked from the last time the hoof trimmer came, and just have her give a light little trim. She tends to grow, her toes get crossed, and it causes her problems. Genetic defect. And Luna's actually her daughter, so that's also part of Luna's issue. All right, so I gotta take the forks off the tractor, because while I did, and of course, the way it goes on this farm is you got several things spaced out through the day. Like the hoof trimmer was going to come at 3, and we knew that the cattle handling unit was going to be delivered in the morning, and we're also waiting for a call for the vet for me to go pick up the medicine, which I don't think is going to happen because today is Indigenous Peoples Day holiday, so things are shut down, so mail won't be delivered. So he's waiting for the medicine that we ordered through him to get delivered to him, and then we have to go pick it up. So anyway, instead of it all being nicely spaced out throughout the day, and we were milking and we were making cheese, it all happened at once. So while the hoof trimmer arrived and started on Luna, all of a sudden the cattle handling system showed up. So I didn't get to film any of that, just a little bit unloading it. The tractor, well, it did an okay job unloading it. Because the tires are rubber and filled with air, they bounce a little bit, and the weight of the system and the, I don't know, just the wobbliness of the tractor just makes it a pain to unload pallets of material and stuff with it comfortably. I mean, I suppose if you did it all the time, if you didn't have a skid steer, then you would just deal with it. But I got the skid steer. So I'm going to take the forks off the tractor. Take the forks off the tractor and get them on the skid steer, and I want to move the cattle handling system up. We don't know where we're going to put it yet, and we'll talk about that later. The reason we bought it was because of when that little bull calf took out my shoulder and laid me up for a couple days, and also because we need to be working on the cows more and doing some more things with them, and getting them, running them through the cattle handling system will get them used to being handled. Like I struggled to get Luna into the chute for the hoof trimmer. Lottie's an old pro, so she doesn't like doing it, but she will do it, so she was a lot easier. But the rest of the cows don't need their hooves trimmed as often, maybe once a year. And this wasn't the time, and some don't even need them trimmed year after year. They don't need them trimmed. So we're trying to get our cows used to a little bit more handling and a little bit more, and just to make it easier for us. And certainly we want to eventually get weigh scales so that we can be weighing, as that's important for when you have to treat them with medicine. And so, yeah, we're just trying to take the strain off of us. We ain't getting any younger. And if we can come up with a way that, you probably seen the video of us, a couple different videos of us by now, trying to take blood samples from the cows in their tails. And if the cow doesn't stand stock still for it, now Lottie's great, she does great with it, nettle hops all over like a jumping bee. So having them stand stock still is important for doing that. So we need to be able to get them through the chute and do that. So we decided to order the bare bones, minimum, basic, cheapest unit from a reputable brand, a brand that I've seen and other farmers we know have. And we also bought it now because it was last year's stock sitting in the yard, and the new stock is going to have tariffs on it. So we got it for significantly less right now than we would pay for it, even certainly next year or even later this year. Because if someone else had bought it, then they would have had to sell us the new stock with the tariffs included in it. Yeah, we're spending some money that we weren't expecting to spend, and that's kind of why we keep a little pocket of money for crucial, important stuff. And it just moved it up. Health and safety items get a priority on this farm because it is just the two of us, and if one of us is laid up, then that makes a heck of a lot of work for the other one. And also, like, I can't make cheese. I don't do cheese work. I can do some. I'll do deliveries. I'll take sales calls and stuff when Allison can't. And she can milk the cows and she can move the cows in and out and move lines in the field, but she doesn't operate the equipment as often. She's not as comfortable operating the equipment as I am. Well, she can do it. She doesn't do it. And so, we are interchangeable to a point, but anything that lays us up, anything that hurts us accidentally, stuff happens. It just tips the balance of things. So health and safety items like the cattle handling system go right up at the top of priority list. So we just decided to make it happen. Don't know where we're going to put it. Don't know what we're going to do initially, but I've got a couple ideas. We'll just have to set it up and play with it and see what happens. But right now I'm going to get out of our front yard so everybody in the world doesn't see it and know that we have it. All right, bale delivered to the heifers. Check that off the list. They still have a bit left. I don't know why they haven't eaten those turnips right there. A few up there. I don't know if they're just still grazing this off. There's still some high places, but they've eaten most of the feed in this little acre. In 3 days, 5, that's about what I would have expected, which is why I brought them a bale to help supplement them. I wouldn't mind. I had bale grazed all of this a couple years ago. Maybe last year? I don't remember at this point. It's on the videos. But really where I want to bale graze is way out there. And it's impractical to get the skid steer out there because the terrain is too rough. And I don't want to bring the tractor down here I could, but I wasn't planning on bringing the tractor down here. The cows cleaned this off pretty well. I do have a little bit of grazing over there for the heifers, maybe after they eat this bale. Gonna bring this turnip up for the pigs. They actually grazed off the turnips here pretty well. I need to clear this out. I need a lot of stone in here that needs to be picked up and gotten rid of to help make this a little bit more manageable. Problem with the skid steer is it churns up the ground anywhere I have to turn. So I don't care about out there. I just don't want to skip a track or get stuck. And I need to improve the access here a little bit. They should do quite well on that. And the one little grass they've got left. This isn't dairy quality silage. It's kind of late. It smells great. It smells silagey. I've cut and baled it in one day. I wouldn't normally, with all the cows, I wouldn't have put it so close to the fence line, but I needed to be able to get to it with a skid steer. Because again, I don't want to come in this field with a skid steer and churn up established grazing ground. And it's also, it's a little rough. I'm not ready for the change in weather, the change in light. It's dark when we get up, dark when we're milking the cows at night. Just not ready for it. I'm out here gathering the herd because they don't want to come in. Well, some of them are in, some are here. Looking across where they've been for the last 3.5 days, and I think they did a pretty good job. Nothing's grazed down too tight. The clumps of orchard grass in the corner there are nicely munched, and the milk yield has been great. So we got that little bit of rain. Nothing's wetting the ground so much they're going to destroy anything. So today I'm going to send them into the next section. I got to free up a reel, make a new lane, and then create a corner here because I don't want them to have access to this again. I want this to start regrowing. And also, it's just a pain with this much. Come on, Luna, let's head in. Come on. It's just a pain having this big an area to try and coerce them in if they don't want to go in. Because they'd rather be out here grazing. They don't want to be stood in the parlor in the barn waiting to get milked. I think it's just because they've been on silage all summer. Because normally they're just, you call them and they come in. But lately, they do not want to come in. I think it's just a matter of they know the grass is going to go away. They want it while it's here, and they'd rather not stand in the barn. So I'm going to make it a little bit less area and move them a little bit more often now that I know what they're going to do. And I think before I was a little cautious about grazing along the fence line here because there were some black cherries, some wild cherry, and that's in the fall, that's really toxic to cows. But I think at this point I've culled them all. And I had the neighbor take down a couple that were overhanging his garden so the leaves didn't blow into the field. So that's helpful. All right, let's get these cows in. Today's Tuesday, the 14th of October. I am out here gathering up debris that was piled here, silage wrap and construction materials from the slab we poured way back in whenever, June, whatever that was. Anyways, there's been a big mound of stuff here. It's kind of a dumping ground. Things are slowing down a little bit now. I can start cleaning up, tackling this. Wednesdays are garbage day, so I want to get this ready to go out and get the guy to haul it away tomorrow. The idea is temporarily, for now, to try it because we need to test all the cows, preg check them, and it hasn't been working the other way, trying to do it in the parlor or at the rail. We're going to use the chute. I'm going to put the chute here, and we'll make the pen out here to gather them in, and then they can go back in that gate back into the barn. That's the temporary idea. Eventually, I don't know, maybe we'll put it out below the barn here once I get this manure cleared out. Or another idea is the raspberries have kind of spread this way, and there's this kind of dead zone right here outside the yard. We might be able to fold it in there somehow, get rid of the briars and move that stone pile, and that doesn't seem to be enough room. Ideally, I think it might be good in this yard. To have a cattle handling system that will work for us, it needs to be close to the barns, but also close to where they come and go from, which is here, but also maybe over there. I might try and put it up in the new barns, because really we could run the cows out of the field into the shipping container yard once it's completed, preg check them there, and then lead them back down here, and they could go into this barn. Only problem is, once this parlor is out of here, in between the old barn and the new barn will be more new barn. The parlor is going to go in the back. And I wasn't really planning. I was just going to extend this feed rail all along up to the old barn. So there won't really be a way to get cows in there. They'll have to come down in, and that's fine. We have to put a gate here. We can't leave a hot wire over the winter. They just get out too often. So if with the shed here and a gate there and we can just set up some temporary lines along here. And I really, this is going to stop being a firewood dumping ground. Hopefully I'll get this processed this winter and burn up, clean this back to something resembling a garden. We also kind of want to put a wood-fired bread oven here. Maybe. So anyway, we're just going to try putting the we're going to try putting the cattle unit here so we can work them, because we need to. We need to preg check them. We need to treat Luna for her sore foot. She needs some injections, some medicine that we haven't been able to really do in the parlor. We might try, but we think, having her in the squeeze chute so she can just be contained rather than hopping all over the place will make our job easier, make her life a little less hellish. So we're going to see. We're going to try and get this yard going. Well, I'm trying to set this up, but the problem is we live on a valley. We're at the top of the valley, and we go downhill from the plateau right there. And so the chute is not level. It slopes heavily downhill. I tried leveling it out. I have a tool, the adjustable 6-way plow, but one of the hydraulic fittings is broken on it, where I could cut and scrape this level. Cut in on this side, the high side, and fill on the low side. But the hydraulic fitting's broken, so I can't use that today. I also am not sure I want it perpendicular to that gate. Maybe if I bring it off the corner of the building and angle it more, because they're going to be coming up this lane. And again, this is all temporary. This is all trial. This isn't permanent where we want this even. So, but I just have to get it level and and also the other problem with this site is right now, the road out here is higher than the ground there, so it's sloping downhill, and that's not a good place to be. Cows want to walk uphill. So I'm thinking if I pivot it, it may fit in better. Well, it's Friday afternoon. I'm down here playing with the Air-Equip setup and the panels we bought. And one thing I can say for sure, I like these panels are light enough to move. They're, I don't know, they're what, 7 foot, 8 foot long? I can move them one-armed. The gates, however, are a little bit more difficult. It took Allison and I together to barely be able to move one. I could move them with a skid steer though. So I'm down here setting up what could possibly be a handling configuration. We're going to try it out tomorrow, hopefully. I've made a corner with some of the panels, 2 panels, and I've added another panel here, which I'll use as a gate to get into this area. If we decide that isn't going to work, we can just tie them together with some baling twine. I'm going to put the second gate here off the corner of the chute to block off there, and that'll allow us a gate in this way so that we can access the back of the cows to test them. We're doing preg checks, at least on 2 tomorrow. We'll try it. That'll give us a little handling yard here that we can use to, get a bunch of cows in here and then drive them through the chute. I still have to level the chute. The handle here wants to swing out and stay out, and it can roll back, and it's a little tippy. Now, I know it's uphill. I know it's tippy. This isn't the ideal spot by any means. And so given our inexperience, we're going to find out. We're going to see and find out. With the gate there, that should be good. They should just move through. And on the other end of things, we put the second gate here because we have to be able to get to the parlor for milking. This will act as a what do they call it? Not a Crowder gate, as a bulk gate. Because horn cattle are notoriously hard to catch in a chute because it's hard to time. They got to get their horns through and stuff. The Air-Equip seems to be easier to deal with that than others. Anyway, this could be like a little bit of a bulk gate so that they'll slow down. They won't just shoot out and we can catch them if necessary. Otherwise, it will be closed like that. And we've got that gate, a panel there, which it's up in the air and it'll swing, I can rest it on the drum and we can get to the vacuum pump if we need to, and we can get into work the chute. And then here it's just a panel to block them there, a panel for visual continuity against the wall, and this panel here, and we'll shoot them back into the barn through the parlor, which they're used to going. So I think this should be a low stress handling setup, temporary for now, certainly for the farmers and hopefully for the cows. So I just wanted to get some of this stuff in place. We're not going to do anything till tomorrow, but I wanted to kind of see how this can function. And I do need to level. The back corner needs to come up. This needs to tip over. It's pretty solid where it is now, and I don't want to make it unstable, but I do want to get it a little more level. One thing I won't get used to is you have to pull out to bring the gate out.